I am Heather Clancy, Editorial Director of GreenBiz, here in the GreenBiz studio with a farmer and the Mayor of the County of Maui, Alan Arakawa. Alan, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
We were just chatting prior to being on camera, and I think one of the things that fascinates me most about what Hawaii is going through right now is how it is using this climate change issue as an opportunity to rethink and redo economic plans, redo the future, right? Think about the future in a different way. How is the state's renewable declaration, 100% renewable, affecting your economic priorities?
Well, quite frankly, I declared a 100% goal about 2 years before the state did.
Right.
So we've been working toward that goal probably for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
About 20 years ago, the state of Hawaii did a study that asked the people within the state of Hawaii, what would you like Hawaii to become? What is your vision of the future? And that's the vision that I'm working toward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It asks for us to be able to clear up our coastal waters, to make them pristine again. It asks us to be able to make the streams clear again. It asks us to be able to allow for parks and recreation where people can truly enjoy themselves.
Mm-hmm.
All of these requirements now are coming to fruition because the climate is forcing a lot of the changes that we're having to make.
Right.
We're seeing our coastline erode. So on Maui, we changed the policy. So we've literally purchased to put aside about 80% of our north and our south shores,
Mm-hmm.
so that people can't build right on the coastline, so that as the shoreline erodes, we don't have houses falling into the ocean. It's taken us about 20 years to get to about 80%, and we still need to get to 100%. We started creating policies where we no longer do direct culverts to the ocean. All of our subdivisions, all of our projects that we're working on now require 50-year, 100-year sedimentation basins. Any project has to handle all the water created on site. So we're changing a lot of the rules and requirements.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to about 3 times more open space parks,
Mm-hmm.
active parks within our county.
So this is an opportunity. It's a culture. It seems like a cultural embracing the culture of Hawaii, but also, and that's important. But I'm wondering how it creates opportunities to mesh with others, to learn from others, and to be part of this bigger picture.
It is the bigger picture that we're creating. A lot of what we're doing is what the rest of the world is now trying to emulate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're purchasing a lot of our watershed areas to preserve them long term. So I'm in the process of acquiring over 8,000 acres of watershed. We're trying to create our water system so that it's systematic. We're going to better planning rather than to just things happen so that we react. Even with tsunamis, we're creating plans on how to be able to react better with them. All of these because outside situations are forcing us to make changes. When we look at things that we don't have control over, like all the plastics in the ocean and all the debris that's washed into our shores, we have to be able to find ways to be able to recycle or rework the situation so that it now becomes tenable. So we're going from landfills, which is rubbish piles, to reuse, which is to be able to take the landfill debris, create energy out of it. We can no longer use things just one time. We have to be able to change our program to incorporate reuse constantly. Now, there's an old scientific adage: matter can neither be created nor destroyed. All the water that we've had 20,000 years ago is still the same amount of water we have today. It's not the recreation, it's how we reuse for our benefit. And with everything in the world, everything balances. When we have tides rising in one area, we have more land being created in another. When we have more heat in one area, we have more cold in another. We're in a constant battle with evolution, and we're going to constantly have to rethink how we survive. No longer can we just stay static and say, okay, well, We'll just do what we've been doing yesterday and the day before, and we'll continue. Anyone who has a 5-year-old or a child in grade school will know that their scientific basis, their education basis is very different from ours.
Right.
There are 2-year-olds that know how to use an iPhone and know how to put apps on it better than seniors do. As the technology is evolving, as our environment is evolving, as we're overusing a lot of the areas that we want to be able to now make better, we have to find the science and the will to go away from status quo, because lots of times it's about economy, it's about money. We have to be able to say, okay, do we look at the short-term benefit, the mid-term benefit, the long-term benefit?
Yes.
How do
All
we
of them.
blend
Yes.
those?
Yes, exactly.
Because you have to take into consideration that there are going to be considerations for short-term goals. Our electric companies right now use petroleum almost exclusively. Why? Because it's an economic incentive to do it.
Right.
Petroleum was the cheapest resource. As we're moving to 100% alternative energies, we're looking at now solar, wind, looking at the ocean thermal, we're looking at geothermal, we're looking at all kinds of different ways, biofuels. If we can now change the economic perspective, we'll be able to move to a completely different economy. Now we import 6 to 8 billion gallons or $1 billion worth of crude oil for our electricity. And if we can create that within our community, that's $6 to $8 billion of economic development that we're not exporting.
Exactly. Well, I hope you find that balance. Thank you for joining us here in the GreenBiz studio. For GreenBiz Studio, I'm Heather Clancy.